They say some stories sit quietly in village corners, waiting for someone who can hear what others cannot. Listen long enough, and the silence begins to speak. This one began in the mid-1980s, in narrow lanes and mud homes where the monsoon could bless, or punish, depending on who dared remember it. It is the story of Sumitra, a bride as ordinary as the morning sun, and of Shiva, whose life ended violently, and refused to stay gone. What followed slipped through houses like a cold breath. Neighbors felt it first. Investigators felt it later. No one escaped it. Sumitra was 17. Quiet steps, soft gestures, a life barely louder than a heartbeat. But that summer, the rain changed. The air tightened. And something else slipped in. Her sleep no longer belonged to her. Whispers broke from her lips, names she should not know. She woke gripping her blanket, eyes wide, as though she'd seen a place she'd never walked. A distant house. A mango tree. A gate creaking in the dark. They told themselves stories to feel safe. Fever. Homesickness. Nerves. But safety is a thin mask, and masks slip. One July afternoon, she fell. A sharp seizure. Then stillness. A kind of stillness the living do not make. They washed her body. Lit lamps. Lowered their voices to the careful hush of mourning. Her husband shook with grief. Then, a breath. Too sudden. Too wrong. She sat up. Her eyes were no longer Sumitra's. "My name is Shiva," she said. And the room froze, as if the world had forgotten how to move. From that moment, her voice carried memories she could not own. A yellow sari in a trunk. A watch box with a pattern only one family knew. Relatives whose names were spoken only inside a distant home. When Shiva's father entered the room, she called him by the name only Shiva had used. A name he hadn't heard since the day he buried her. She wept for children who were not hers. Children she had never met. Children she remembered with someone else's grief. Rumors crawled across villages. Some whispered deception. Some whispered madness. But others listened carefully and heard something colder. Investigators arrived. Stevenson documented details that should have been impossible, 19 exact facts marking the life of a woman long dead. Facts Sumitra had no path to. No access. No earthly reason to know. Some nights, her voice thinned to a breath, trapped between two lives. Other nights, one voice dissolved into the other, effortless, terrifying. People who watched her spoke of the stillness before dawn. A roof beam creaking. Wind sliding over a bucket. And in the center, the quiet, steady breathing of someone who did not fully belong to this world. Attention gathered like storm clouds. Journalists. Authorities. Researchers. All staring into a mystery that stared back. Months passed. Some days she returned to her chores, gentle as ever. Other days she spoke as Shiva, remembering scars, distant trams, tiny details no outsider could guess. 2 lives, sharing one breath. And every day felt like a step closer to something no one wanted to understand. Investigators wrote their reports, but the pages trembled with uncertainty. No normal explanation, some admitted quietly. And so the story lingered. Sumitra aged. Rains rose and fell. But the shadow remained. Children whispered about the woman who cried for another woman's sons. Lovers fell silent passing the lane where she once lay motionless. A memory like fog, refusing to lift. Picture it. A small lamp trembling on a wooden table. Smoke rising in a thin line. A face shifting between who she was and who she became. The flame flickers. The house exhales. And you are left alone with the question. When a life crosses the border of the impossible, what do we mourn? Even now, when the monsoon crawls back, villagers speak the 2 names together. Sumitra and Shiva. 2 shadows in one body. Listen carefully when you pass a quiet village at dusk. Something waits in those places, where the past refuses to stay buried, and the present forgets to lock its doors.